Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today's I'm going to continue work on this Excel file here that I received from someone that I'm coaching as part of her interview process for a financial position in the renewable energy sector. The focus of today's video is just to see what I could improve in the exercise if I were in her shoes. If you want to see how I did the exercise, just click on the link above to watch the first video of the series. Let's gonna get started. So let's see what we can do in here, right? So the first thing I can see in here, I will change. First thing would be how the dates are presented. So, if you've been following my videos, you know by now that the way I like to have my dates is when you have the months as letters like this, right? And I also like to have just a second, I like to have like this and like this, okay? So I have to have first the date, then the month in our word like letters, not in numbers, and then the years, okay? If you want to be even more specific, you can make sure you have the years represented by 4 letters, because then there is no confusion. The first part of the date is the day, the second one is the month, and the third one is the year. Okay, so that's going to leave like this. Okay, so you can see here everything was set properly, but the best way to do is just to come here and you can create a new style. You can call it date, okay? The only thing you want to change is the numbers, okay? So you can get rid of all of these things in here. You can click in format. And what you can do here, that's exactly what you're looking for. So now, whenever you need to change the format of the dates, and we're going to do it later on, you just have to go over here and click in date. Okay, so if you have here first, let me go here, 2023, 01, like this. So the only thing you have to do, you have to just come over here, click on dates, and there we go. Okay, so that's quite easy. It's very useful to use the cell styles, and I recommend you to always do it. Okay, so that's the first thing. So we have the project name here, we have the dates, we have the year in here, we have the cost, the project costs in here. One thing that I like to do, I always have the units next to the numbers or next to the input cells, okay? So let's gonna try to fix this thing in here. As you can see here we have the units, but here we don't, right? So I just don't like to do it. So what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna Control X here and I'm gonna paste everything in here for now, okay? And I'm gonna make sure that all the dates are in the same position. So I'm just gonna go here. I'm just gonna reorganize the information in here so that everything is clear and consistent across the model, okay? So let me just Control X here, here, and I'm gonna start adding the units in here. So here, what we're gonna have? We're gonna have here, it's just a name, doesn't really matter. So this is a date. This is also date. This is a year. And this is dollar amount. So here we know we have this representation here, which means that every input that is a dollar is in times thousands. Okay, so here we have 500,000. So here we have, instead of $500,000, we have $500 million. So I'm going to add this thing in here. Okay, so I'm going to have also the dollar sign 000 and S. I'm going to do exactly the way it is in here. Okay, just to be more clear on what we're doing. So here we have the number of WTGs. Here we have kilowatts per WTG. We have megawatts percent, megawatt per year. What I'm going to do here, I'm going to change this thing in here, okay? As we have everything in megawatts, and because the project is big, I would rather have everything in megawatts. So I'm going to change this thing here to megawatt. And I'm going to change this thing here to 3.4. The thing is, now I have to see, we're going to make a major change in here. Okay, so it's 3,400. You need to understand where this information is being used for, because if you change here to 3.4, you see the numbers here changing and everything's going to be wrong. So let's see how this thing is being integrated in the model. The best way to do it is just go here to formula, you trace dependent, and you can see that goes straight away in here. So that's the only place this formula is going to. So that's quite easy to fix, okay? So we're going to go back here, put 3.4, and here what we're going to do, we're going to get rid of this 1,000 here. Oops. And we should have the same things in here. So I think this is the very last result of the model. So if I go back here and see what the results were, and I'm now going to move forward and see, I can see the results are still the same. So the changes I did are correct, okay? But one thing I'm going to do here, I'm going to go back to home, cell, and and I'm going to have this as a 2 or with the commas. Okay, I want to see the commas in here. Okay, so that's the first thing. We have percent, then we have here megawatt hours per year. That's fine. So just to keep it consistent, let's put year like this. Okay, and that's it for now. So here we have a inflator. I always like to put percentages in here too, just in case. And now just to make these things a bit more well presented, I am going to get rid of these borders. Okay, no borders for now. I am going to get these a little bit lighter because it's just units. So I think it looks nice when you have things like this. And I'm going to make everything to the right. Okay, so that's what we have in here. And then I'm going to bring it back, all the borders that we used to have before. So this the one here. Then we can do like this. I'm going to press F4. F4 just repeats the last command I typed. Okay, so that's it here. We can also do this here. F4 and F4. Okay, so that's basically it. I don't think there is anything else we can do here in the project information. Now let's gonna go here to the project contracts and project returns. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna grab this thing here. I'm gonna Control X. I'm gonna paste these things in here, and I'm gonna go here now. I am going to copy, and I'm gonna just only to paste the formats in here. Okay, and that's basically fix everything. And what I have to do now, just to add the units. So these are years, right? These are megawatts. I'm gonna get rid of the units here later. These are dollars per megawatt hour. This is percent. This is what? This is also a percent. And this is USD 123.s, right? So now I'm going to get rid of all these formulas in here. Sorry, should be in here. Okay, that's the one. Or get out of, so get rid of the units. Okay. I can see here, let's get rid of this. I can see here very important information that I kind of didn't consider. Okay, let me just get out of this. I'm gonna paste this here. Okay, so I didn't make this comment on the first video, but I think it's worth making it now. So what it says here says $2023 per megawatt, $18, right? So what essentially it says in here, that's the price is $18 on year 2023. After that, we have to escalate it by 2%. And I didn't pay attention to this on the first video, so I'm gonna just double check now if that's correct. Okay, so let's gonna go here to the pro forma and see when our financial model starts. So it starts on, the production starts on 2023 and it's $18. So that's correct, okay? And here we have the reference here too. So I didn't mention that in the model, but that should be something you should take care of and should account for, okay? Very easily you can get a price from 2020, 2021, or 2022. Then you have to start already accounting for the escalation on the first year, okay? So that's something that I didn't really pay attention to the first video, that I just got now by redoing or by just reassessing the file, okay? I'm gonna just correct here. I'm gonna to get rid of this, and I think here everything should be fine, okay? One thing I like always to do, always to make this where you type your inputs bigger, okay? And I also like to add a bit of space in here so you can see. So we have here project information, then we have project contracts, and now we have the levered returns. These things are not, I don't understand why this is not really centered. Let's gonna see what's going on here. We've got to go to alignment. Yeah, there's something wrong here. Let's gonna center across. Okay, just notice here, I centered across. Okay, what it means in here is that the text is on cell D31, but it's centered all over the cells in here. I didn't merge it, okay? And the reason why I didn't merge it is because if I want to only select this column here, sorry, if I only want to select this column here, I can, because the cells are not merged. But if I were to merge these cells in here, look what happens now, okay? If I come here and I want to only select the column D, I can't, because this cell here is merged, okay? So another best practice for financial modeling is never ever merge stuff, okay? So I'm just gonna go back here. And again, if I'm here, just wanna select now column G, I can do it, okay? So that's something just to keep in the back of your mind. and because it just makes financial model better. I'm going to delete these things here. I don't know why we have that in there. And I just go line by line now to see what we have in here, because I want to fix one more thing. So here we have a formula. It's 40%. Okay, that's what I want. This is what I want to fix in here. If you also watched my videos before, you know that we never ever should mix a formula with reference to cell and hard code numbers. Okay, and we have one here. Okay, we have this one right here, and we're gonna fix it. So if you recall the 87 years, that refers to the number of hours in a given year. Okay, and the way we're gonna fix it, I'm gonna go down here. I just wanna copy the infrastructure. I just wanna copy these things in here. Control C. I wanna paste it in here, and I'm gonna write constants in here. And what we're gonna have here, we're gonna have a few constants that we're gonna use in the model. Okay, the first one being what? Hours in day. Okay, and then I'm gonna have days. I'm just gonna add one more here because I want to add 3 things. So days in year, and then I'm gonna have thousands. Okay, sorry, thousand, not thousands, but thousand. Okay, so how many hours do we have in a day? We have 24. I'm gonna fix this one. This is hour. This is days. This is just a constant, just a number. So we have to have here a comma 0. The same here. Oops, the same here, and here the same here. Okay, so here we're gonna have 24 hours. We have 365 days, and we're gonna have 1000 here. Okay, and I'm gonna name the cells. Okay, so the cell here is gonna be hours in day. Here we're gonna have days and year, and here we're gonna have 1000. That's it, 1000. Oops, it's wrong. 1000. Okay, what we're gonna do now here, whenever we have these hardcode input numbers, we're gonna just switch it to the reference to the cells in here. So the first one I'm gonna say, instead of writing the 8760, we're gonna say times this, and you can see here it referenced already the named cell, and I can also say times what? Days in year. And if type, oops, I have just 2 days in year, I have to do the whole thing here, and there we go. Okay, so if you go back here, we have this number here, and if you move forward, we have the same number. Okay, so usually when you have a bigger financial model, what I do, I just have another sheet with the constants. Okay, because we end up having several of them. You can have like a median number in here, and you're gonna have quarters in a year, months in quarters, and so forth and so on. Okay, but because we have a small financial model and you only have 3 constants for now, that should be okay. We're gonna reuse this 1000 here in the pro forma section. Okay, I think that's all for the inputs sheet, and now we're gonna move on to the pro forma. Let's see what we have in here. We have the numbers. Okay, so these are hard code numbers. I think I put this one here, and I already noticed something that I also did not pay attention last time, which is the percentage, the in-service percentage time. Okay, what that means in here is that the power plant is going to be fully operational from first day of the year. Okay, and that's more or less correct, right? I don't like to use this here on a overnight financial model, which essentially it is what this model is. Okay, because the assumption here is we're assessing the project at a high level for now, and you only want to have a sense of what's going on there. Okay, because this is an overnight cost model, essentially what it means, like in the first year we have a power plant working 100% of the time. So I don't like this in here. Okay, if this number here were to be 50%, then you have to consider that the power plant would generate only 50% of the electricity, and it would only have the 50% of the OPEX, and there might be some other parameters that you have to take into consideration for only half of the time. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of this. Okay, I don't like this thing here in this overnight model. That would make sense when you have like a more detailed model where you really forecast your costs for each one of the months, and eventually you break down the generation or the operation phase in quarters, or at least in a half an year. Okay, so let's gonna get rid of this. That would be my recommendation. I would have made the comment to the interviewer if I were doing this exercise right now. Okay, that's the first thing. Second thing, the model is still quite small here. We have, let's say, less than 100 rows. Okay, but I like to set my models in a way that I freeze the panel or the model right here. And where is it? Should be here. So I'm gonna unfreeze, and I'm gonna freeze the model here. Okay. Why is that? Because if I wanna go to the left, I still can see everything that is in here. Okay. So I'm gonna also add one more column in here. So now what I'm doing basically, I'm gonna format the model in a way that it looks better, and you can see more things as you move across. Okay, you don't need to see everything that is in this section of the model here, because essentially every row has the same calculation. It should have the same calculation. Okay, but it's always good to see what's above in the header and what's on the left. So that's the first thing. I think I already added another column in here, right? So let me see. Yes, I did add another column in here, and I'm gonna move a few things here and there just to make it more clear. Okay, so I'm gonna copy these things here, Control X. I'm gonna copy in here, and all my units are gonna come first. Okay, so I'm gonna paste some more units in here. Then I'm gonna do like this for now. I'm gonna copy here, paste here, and I'm gonna get rid of this and put in here. My units are gonna go here, and the same for here, even though here's a bit more complex. So let me just move these things to this side here, and there we go. Okay, so let's see what we have in here. So we have productions, and another thing I'm gonna do also, I'm gonna just come here, and I'm gonna set this to the this color in here and to the left. Okay, cool. So we have here, I'm gonna make this a bit bigger so these things don't get together too close, and that's it. Let's see what we're gonna do now. Okay, let's go to the production here. We have green color text for things that comes from other sheets, so that's okay. And I'm gonna just add here some sort of border. Again, you should have this in your style. So I'm gonna go here, and that's what we have in here. And I'm going to add this in my style. Let me see if we can have anything in here. So I'm going to create new style of sheet. Okay, so I don't want to just need the alignment. No, to be honest, we only need the font and the border. So what the font should be, so the border should be this one here. That's super good. The font should be this one here. Perfect. So now we're going to save, and for every single input come from another place, another sheet, we're going to just click in here, and that's what we have, correct? So here's the same. I'm going to press F4 here, and that's what we have. Cool. So now we have this. I am going to do one more thing in here. So we have production, contract production, merchant, and this. Okay. So these are basically inputs, right? So one thing I'm going to do, I'm going to get rid of this row here. Oops, sorry, didn't. Where did I go? I'm going to get rid of this row. Cool. So this is a calculation. So this is not an output. So I'm going to change this thing in here. Okay, so this is going to be, actually, it's going to be a black. It's going to be a normal text. Okay. So I know this is a calculation, and we have this here, the PPA length in years. That's fine, and we have this. So what do we have here? We have these are calculations, and these are inline calculations. So what I'm going to do here, I am going to do the following. I'm going to actually add one row in here. I'm going to clear the formats in here. Okay, so don't need anything in here. And, or by the way, what should I do here? Okay, we have two calculations all together. Let me just merge them all together. That's fine. Okay, I'm going to just add here a top row. Okay, so I know then that there's two calculations being made in here, and we're subtracting and we're adding those things in here. That's okay. So I'm gonna also grab the megawatt hours here, and then I will just add a total calculations in here, or added the top row in here. Okay, so that's basically it. If I want to be a bit more, that's fine. I'm not gonna make this. Okay, so we have the units here, and what we have this thing in here. There's something wrong here. Let me just gonna copy this. Alt ST. Let me see. Yeah, now we just have to have the topper board. Okay. Cool. So we have finished the production. Let's go to the price now. So we have the PPA fixed price and we have the hub floating price. That's fine. What I'm going to do, I'm going to add the PPA price in here. This should be a reference and also the escalation, right? So let me just do the following. I'm going to copy this. I'm going to paste both in here and I'm going to use this formatting here. Okay, I'm going to Control C. Alt EST, Alt EST here. So I'm gonna use the same format. So I'm gonna press F4 here. So this should be a comma zero, no comma, and this should be a percent. Okay, percent. This 2%. I'm gonna add 2 points. I'm gonna add the 2 zeros after the period. Okay, that's what we have, and everything's coming from here, and looks okay. Cool. Now, this is an input from the model. It's a hard code number. Again, if I were to be doing this, I would not have these hard coded numbers in here. I would have a XLOOKUP function, and I would have these inputs here saved in the inputs general. I'm not going to change this. That would be too much of a change for this exercise here. But keep in mind, okay, if you're going to work, you should never ever use these sort of inputs in here. This is only for the sake of the exercise. And then you could also make the comment to the interviewer, say, look, I understand I'm not going to move this thing out from here, okay? But if I were to do a bigger exercise, or if this were a real financial model during my job, in my job, I would never ever have these things in here, okay? I would have all the inputs in the input sheets. Okay, and that's it for this section, I guess. So we have the escalation here. I'm going to just ask here, it's going to be a percent per year, and I'm going to use an abbreviation for year, just not to make the column width too long. And we are fine here. Now we're going to have the PPA, sorry, the revenue. So I'm going to copy this here. There we go. So we have the units. I'm going to add the top row here also. And what is the calculation here? That's fine. Okay, so here we have the thousands. See, so I'm going to get rid of this because we have now the named range. And I'm going to just paste everything here. And for sure, we have this thing here. And we're going to change it for the 1000, which if I press F9, so let me go back here. So I'm going to change this for 1000, right? And if I select it and press F9, it's going to go back to 1000. See? So that's what we have in here. 1000. Okay, I'm going to copy and paste everything across. And yeah, but I just want to the formulas. And that's it. But I'm going to do differently here because we have a space here. I don't like to use the sum of everything because eventually we might get anything in here and it's going to start adding up to your numbers. Okay, so you don't want to do that. What do you want to do? You want to say equals to the sum, and then you refer only to the two cells like this, close parentheses, copy and paste everything across. And that should be it. Okay, so now it's much cleaner and you're not using empty rows or cells that you don't need to. Total revenues here is going to be also like this one here. We're going to copy and paste the values, and we have everything ready for us in here. Let's go to the next, operating expenses, right? So that's the one we have in here. And that's going to fix first our inputs and our units. So the number of turbines should be just a number. This should be a dollar amount. So I'm going to copy from here. So this is dollars, right? So I'm going to just paste here. And so it is this one here. That's cool. Now we should have our inputs. So we have too many of them in here. Actually, let me do it differently. So this is our units for these ones in here. Let me put in here. So 2023, again, the price comes in here. How to do it? I don't want to do it because to me, like the units we have in here always refer back to the numbers we have in here, right? So I'm tend to leave these as it is in here. That's fine as a factor. So this is a fact, this is escalation rate. Okay, so let's gonna do the following. I'm gonna just increase this one here. I wanna have one more column in here, and I wanna copy and paste this thing here. And there we go, right? So I just wanna copy and paste this thing here actually. And what I'm gonna do, this is inputs, right? So this is the coming from somewhere else. So we're gonna put like this. These are inputs. What is it? Percent of revenue. Okay, so this is okay. So what I'm gonna do here, I'm gonna add. I'm gonna just get rid of this. I'm gonna say this is going to be like this, and I'm gonna just copy here and paste it here. So we have this is a percent of revenue. This is an input, and I'm gonna get rid of the border. Okay, cool. So we have basically everything in here. Let me see. Yes, that looks okay. And what I'm gonna do now, I am going to go here, select top, and there we go. Okay, cool. Again, all these inputs here, I would transfer, and let's do it actually. These are all model inputs, right? Why should we have these things in here? So we should transfer to the input sheet. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna copy these things in here. I'm gonna copy. Let's see where we can put it. I'm gonna put it here for now. And what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna just change the reference. So I'm gonna say like this equals to this, right? I'm gonna Control D, and everything here now essentially is an offsheet reference. Okay, as you can see, prepare the formulas in here. I'm gonna do the same here. I'm gonna say Control X. I'm gonna paste this next to this one here. And if I go here now, if I go back to here, and if I copy and paste the formula across, now as you can see, we have the reference to the formulas, and I will also want to do the cells in here, okay? And let's copy, did I copy the 1%? No, let me copy the land fees, the royalties, so Control C. I'm gonna paste this in here, and then we're gonna say that this equals to this, okay? So here we go, let's gonna change the formatting now. And there we go. So it's much clearer now. Okay, everything should come, it's coming from somewhere else. What I need to do now is just to organize those things in here, right? So we have O&M. We have, let me just make this bigger. So these are all O&M costs. That's quite easy to do. So what I'm gonna do here, let me just think where we're gonna add those things here. So we can do it. I can put these things here basically, right? So let me just Control X. We're gonna put this up here, and I'm gonna add a few rows in here, and now we can just basically transfer all these things from here to here. Let me see if it's gonna fit. Yeah, it did fit. So now what we need to do, we need to just Control X here. Now we have it. We just need to change these things in here. What's 0% here? What is that? Oh, escalation rate for the letter of credit. Okay, cool. So for the letter of credit, then we have to go 2 rows in here. We're gonna copy these things here. Oops. So we're gonna copy here, and then we're gonna Control X again. Oh my gosh. Okay, so here we go. So we have everything here. I'm just gonna make sure we have everything to the left. And we have here percent. This is also percent. This is also percent. This is letter of credit, what factor, like, right? So it's a factor, letter of credit factor. And here we have the escalation rate. Let me just put like this, letter of credit. And then I'm gonna say LOC, fees. So, okay, so it can be LOC factor. And here can be LOC escalation. Land royalties. Okay, so I'm gonna just now have all the borders. and we're good. I want to do one more thing here, because here actually these factors in here, or these two things in here, can bring to this here should be the units we have in here actually. So this is here. Okay, so essentially this $24,000 here means the cost for each one of the turbines per year. So this is the correct unit here. We don't need to have these things in here. So I'm gonna basically get rid of this. We don't need these things in here. I'm gonna Control X here, and I'm gonna basically do Control C, Alt EST here, and I'm gonna do the same here. Okay, so I'm gonna copy here. So that's the way I'm gonna use it now. Okay, so we don't need that. So you just need to pay attention. Okay, whenever you bring things from your input sheet to the pro forma, to the cash flows, make sure you make the correct conversion for the units. Okay, and that's enough. Okay, if you can, one thing you can do though, just to give you more clarity, and I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna just open up a row here. I'm gonna Control X, Control Z, and I'm gonna copy this thing here, and I'm gonna paste it here. Okay, so values, and then I'm gonna copy this style here, and formats in here, and that's what I'm gonna do. Now it's clear, okay, what we're doing here, and not just to get confused, I'm gonna add one more row here. Okay, and I'm gonna Control X this, and I'm gonna just make sure now that I have this. Okay, so it's much clearer now what we have in here. Okay, so here we have a $10 million. We should also make sure we have the correct units here. I'm assuming this is for the full contract. Okay, but now you know exactly what we're talking about here. So we have 100 turbines. Then what we have here, we have the O&M and the spare parts cost, which the price for now is based on per turbine per year on price of 2023. And then you have here the letter of credit value, okay? And then the factor, okay, which is 2.5% escalation rate. And here we have the royalties based on a percentage of the revenue, right? So what I'm gonna do here, I just wanna get rid of this thing here. And I'm gonna clear. And that's essentially what we have. And if you have a sum here, we're gonna change this to sum of what? Of these two, comma, this, and copy and paste everything across. Okay, that's what we have in here, and that's the way I would reorganize the code, or the not the code, but the financial modeling. Cool. So that's gonna keep going down here. I'm gonna just copy and goes to the tax items. So I'm gonna format here. Oops. So it should be here actually, right? So let me see. Let me Control Z because it's. Let me Control C, and I will just yes formats here. So pitch C rate should be a percent. Oh no, this should be what, kilowatt hours. Again, the same things that I was thinking the other day when I recorded the first video. But the assumption here is this is like kilowatt hours, so we're gonna get 2 cents per kilowatt hour. And because we're generating 1.1 million, we're gonna get $33 million in tax credit, which is too much. But that's it. Let's see if there's anything wrong here later. I'm gonna copy this here. Oops. I'm gonna copy the units. That's what we have. Here we have depreciation. So this is a percentage. You can get rid of this here. And here it's the USD. Let me just copy here. Control C, Alt ES values. And I'm gonna just bring it back. Okay. Again, we have inputs here. This is the depreciation schedule. If I were to be doing this, I would put this somewhere else, and I would use a XLOOKUP formula just to catch these numbers according to the year of operation. Okay, but we can survive like this. We have now the depreciation expense, which is based on the investment. I'm gonna do this different. Okay, what I'm gonna do here, I'm gonna say equals to this number here. Where is it? Here, right? So this is the capex. I'm gonna grab this thing here. I'm gonna paste the format, and we have the capex, which should be green and with a border. Okay, and now what we are going to do, I'm going to get rid of this and I'm going to refer back here, press F4, and I'm going to paste it across. Why the heck this is red now? It should not be red. Let me go back here and here, and there we go. Okay, so that's it for now. So the reason why I did this, just to be more clear, right? So essentially, if the model gets too big and you press F2, whenever you press F2, you want to see what the formula is, you should be able to see everything or most of the formula in one screen, okay? And it's much more clear for the user, and if you're gonna be doing a DD or due diligence in this model here, what's being calculated. That's why I moved this down here. Another thing we have here, I think we are just fine like this. We're gonna keep going. So energy safe. So all these things here should be here should be always the $sign. I'm gonna not have anything bold in here, and I'm gonna just highlight here with the top border here. Okay, and that's now. One thing to pay attention of is the sign convention here. So now we start having negative numbers, meaning that this is an outflow of cash from the project, and depreciation expense here means that we're just depreciating the asset in here. Okay, so that's what we have in here. I don't think there's one more thing they want to do that a bit of back and forth. There's going to be a bit of copy and paste that I want to do in the before we finish the video. But for now, I think it's more about getting these things here, which is all this is all dollars, right? So I'm going to just press values in here. The same here, 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 and then we have EBITDA. These are resulting here, 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 and here. And I don't want to have these things bold. So there we go. We have tax rate in here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to copy this structure here, formats, and here is going to be the offset. Cool. So what else we're gonna do here? I don't think there's much more other than now just highlighting these things here. So I'm gonna do here. Now we can do here, and we can always do here. Just pressing F4 because that was the last command, the last short key, or the last function that I use in Excel. So everything is all right. These are hard-coded numbers. Not really, these are formulas, right? So let me change the color of these things in here. We don't need to have these colors now. So I'm gonna get rid of the backgrounds. So let me see how to do it. So I'm gonna have no backgrounds, right? So let me do this all over here. Okay, so no backgrounds for now. And I also want to have everything in black. Okay, cool. Except for here, which I'm gonna fix right now. I think was this one here. Yes, correct. Okay, here we have an input. I'm gonna change this. Okay, so again, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna copy this thing here. I'm gonna copy. I am going. Let me just get the cutbacks here. Oops, sorry. I have to anchor. Now I can paste. Can open on here. I can get rid of this thing here. Again, you can see how many rows I'm adding, right? Don't be afraid to add rows, okay? Be repetitive, use it's free. You can use as many as you need, okay? Don't worry about adding more stuff to your model, okay? It is much better to have a bigger model that is very easy to troubleshoot than have a very compact model where you have to go across all the sheets to understand what's going on and have like huge formulas, okay? That doesn't make sense. That's not best practice at all, okay? Don't do that. So what I'm gonna do here, I am going to do a formula. So it's gonna be equals if, what if this equals to 0, then it's gonna be this, otherwise it's gonna be 0. It's gonna be 0, okay? That's what I'm gonna do, and hopefully this thing is working. What I want to do here, I just want to have a black color, okay? And for this, what I'm going to do here, I'm going to Control X. I'm going to do one more row. Yeah, okay. So this is the that. So this is the that, right? Funding, so funding, whatever. And here, okay, so let me see what's going on here. Okay, so I'm gonna copy and paste this formula. And because I anchored everything properly, when I copy and paste it below here, everything is okay. So I'm gonna copy and paste everything across. And what we're gonna have here is gonna be everything working. And I'm gonna just change the sum here to be equals like this, comma, this, comma, this, copy and paste across. Okay, cool. So we are almost there. Okay, and yeah, I can see here now we have to change this one in here. And one thing more, base rate. So let me see what's this being calculated. Where is it going to? Okay, this is going here. Okay, okay, cool. I'm gonna just now bring it back. We have the units. What is it? Adjuster. It's just a factor. So I'm going to put x here. Okay, just to represent an x. I'm gonna bring this here, the factor, and I'm gonna copy this out the st, and I also want to do here. Okay, so I think that's it. And for here, I just want to do one more thing in this model here, which is important, and I always have it. Okay, I just want to get rid of this. We don't need this here. We don't need this here, right? So one thing I want to do here, I want to make sure now that on period 0, okay, we also have things filled out here. Remember, every time, everything that comes in the rows here in the center of your model should always have the same formula, okay? And should always account for whether you are into the construction phase or into the operations phase, okay? It's gonna give you a little bit of work, but I'm gonna do it, okay? So I'm just gonna run with what I'm doing, but essentially what I'm gonna do here, I'm gonna say here what? If, gonna be equals if this, oops, or equals, let me do here, if what? This is different. Let me anchor properly, let me anchor properly here. So if this is different than 0, then this otherwise should be 0. Okay, so that's essentially what I'm going to be doing here. Okay, and I am going to anchor this properly. Okay, because now I want to have, sorry, I want to have this thing, when I have this thing here, now I want to have this as a 0. Okay, and that's the first thing I want to do. So I'm going to do this for every single formula here. So I'm just gonna speed up the video, and you can see what it looks like later on. Okay, let me do it. Yeah, one thing now that I'm also going to do, because these are all formulas, I am going to do all with no background and black. Okay, because these are not inputs. Okay, so let me keep working here. Okay, so that's now we are correct here. Okay, so a few things in here. Just make sure these numbers are negatives, otherwise the numbers will not match. Okay, also here had to change the formula. Okay, we should not account for the debt and the equity or the project cost. Okay, to calculate the pre-tax cash flow. So that's another thing. And other than this, everything is fine. I can delete this thing here. It wasn't supposed to be here. And that's basically it. Okay, just notice also that this schedule here has nothing to do with the schedule above there. Again, if I were to be doing this on my own, I would put it somewhere else and I would use the X lookup. Okay, because notice here we have 2022, but here we have 2023. So they have nothing to do and this should be put somewhere else. Okay, to be honest, we can even do like this, Control X, put everything just in here. Okay, and I can say PTC schedules here, PTC is schedules. Okay, that would be a much better way to do it. Okay, even Control Z here, I can do like this, Control X, and you just can put in here, and I can basically put in here. Okay, that is a much better way to do, just to be sure. Yeah, just a much better way, because then you don't mix stuff and everything is more organized. Okay, in our cash flow should only have things referring back to your timeline, nothing more. Okay, everything should be done according to your timeline. And one thing that I also like to do, I also like to do to calculate my RR and my NPV here, right? So this is a percentage, this is this is here. Okay, so let me just put in here. So what is the RR equals X RR? We're gonna have based on the dates in here. So sorry, first is the value. So equals X RR, the value. So this is the cash flow we're gonna use, comma, these are gonna be the dates, and 0.1, close. Okay, this is an in-sheet calculation. So first is a percent. We're gonna have two commas, two zeros after comma, and then I also want to have this here. I'm gonna have this is going to be equal to X NPV of what the rate. The rate, do we have the rate? I don't think we have the rate, right? But we used one in here. So what we used here, let me just copy this thing here, 8%. Okay, so great, Control V, and instead of, we're gonna have a comma 0 here, right? And you can also get here, forgot about this rate number here. So let's gonna put here discount rate. We can add the discount rate where, let's gonna add here. Discount rate. Okay, so percent. I put 80%, or I don't know if it's 80% or whatever, doesn't really matter. I'm gonna put in here. This is going to be a percent. I'm gonna name it as a discount rate. And now I can go back here and change it for a discount rate. Here we go. Nope, not this one here. Should be this one here, right? So the same thing. And I'm going to change here also for a discount rate of 8%. So clearly our project is in good shape because we are looking for RR of 11.56. Now we're aiming for 8% RR, but we're getting 11.5. Okay. And to finalize, one more thing I want to do that I always do in my projects, I always add everything here. And I have a total columns here, okay, totals, okay? I'm gonna just bring this here. I'm gonna Control B and center and a bit bigger. I also like to have this like this and a bit of color. Let me see if this is good. No, this is not good. So let's see like this, okay? So I'd just like to Control C, just to have it in here, okay? We don't need to do on here. What do we have to do here? PPA, okay, so we can have this thing here. Is it correct? Yeah, it's correct. This is a total revenue for the project. Sorry, let me copy again. Total revenue, oh gosh, total revenue for the project in here. What do we have here? This is a total OPEX, so we should have this in here. That's good. I don't care. I only care about this one here, this one, Everything in here works well. We have here, here, and everything here. Okay, I just want to add one empty row here because we've got to separate one thing from the other. Okay, so what else? We go back here now. I just want to copy everything here, here, and here. Okay, so I think that's it for the model. We can also go back now to the very last part, which is in here. I don't think there's much here to change. I told you guys I didn't like the way it is divided this. Okay, so we have in every column, we have 2 periods, which is 6 months each, and represented by S1 and S2. So we have semester 1, semester 2. So I don't really like it, but I think it's okay. I don't want to touch in this thing here, but I would have done it differently. And that's basically it. Okay. So just looking back now to the model again, you can see how the model looks. That's basically it. Okay. So that's the 2 videos for today, for the series. I hope you have enjoyed. Please subscribe to the channel and give a thumbs up if you learned anything from today's video. I see you in the next one. Bye.